How's it going, guys? SHARKBELK here, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be covering a respawn that somebody recently suggested I check out on my Paladin that turned out to be a brilliant place for players to hit up if you're looking for somewhere new to visit in game that will offer you a lot in terms of profit when hunting there. The place I'm talking about today, my guys, is the Darashia Putrid Mummy spawn, which I'm also happy to report that though the cave itself is part of the Cults of Tibia questline, it is still accessible to you even if you haven't finished that one just yet, so don't sweat it. Right, so without any further delay, let's get stuck into it, shall we? First off, you'll want to get yourself to the Dark Pyramid, which can be found to the north of Darashia here. Then simply make your way down each floor until you reach -4, to which you'll then want to head west and drop down the hole marked by a warning sign. Once you've found NPC Angelo, say the words hi, results, worried, yes, and he will grant you access to the cavern, and you're good to go. Now lads, with that all covered, let's finally talk about the place itself, shall we? Whilst hunting here, you will encounter two different creatures within the spawn, in that of bone beasts and of course putrid mummies, which currently at the time of this video is the only place in game where you can find these bandaged up baddies. As both of these creatures move at a pretty slow pace, Paladins will have an easy time in taking them down one by one, all the while maintaining a good distance from them, making sure to avoid any melee hits that may come their way. Make no mistake though in being careful around large groups of them, as once in close range it can quickly go from bad to worse for you, especially when you couple in their ability to spam you with paralysis. But just play it safe during those times by taking full advantage of both creatures' inability to walk across fire and you'll do just fine. As for their weaknesses, Paladins will be able to make great use of the fact that they are both weak to holy damage by 25%, so be sure to slap them with as many mass sends as possible when you see an opening to do so. Now, when it comes to equipment suggestions, because I've recommended this spawn for Paladins over level 100, I chose to limit myself to only using gear found within that level range and came up with a set that looks like this. Though of course if you do have one, you would ideally swap out the Paladin armor for a Master Archer's armor instead. As the Putrid Mummy's melee hits aren't pleasant, I chose to prioritize damage reduction over distance level buffing gear to increase your chance of survival if you were to ever find yourself in a sticky situation. However, this is just a suggestion, so play around with different loadouts and find out what works for you best. And in terms of how many supplies you should be looking to take for an hour's hunt here, I'd say to bring around 300 strong manas and roughly 1000 crystalline arrows will do you fine, as the loot here basically weighs next to nothing, so cap shouldn't be an issue for you at all. Which, after saying that, brings me to my next topic I want to talk about, the loot, which to put bluntly is insane. Like seriously, I made so much money whilst I was here. Know though that a good chunk of the profit does however come from selling the little balls of myrrh you'll be picking up from the mummies, so you might want to check out the price of those on the market first before coming here, but as they are used for imbuing backpacks with the featherweight imbuement, it's highly likely you'll be able to sell them for a good price on your world too, so don't worry. And finally, let's talk numbers. After hunting at this spawn a few times, I managed to make on average 600k EXP an hour with green stamina here. So yeah, the EXP is all good and well here, but let's talk about the real selling point to this spawn, the profit. After tallying up the free half-an-hour hunts that I did, on average it would appear that I would make roughly 167k a time, which will however fluctuate between servers as supply and demand on those little balls of myrrh will of course vary, but it is still undeniably a great place to come all the same, as everything else that's looted from the two creatures can be sold to different NPC vendors around Tibia. And for those of you interested in the bestiary, you'll see that we managed to kill on average 40 bone beasts and 200 putrid mummies each hunt here. And again, as this is the only place putrid mummies can be found, hunting this spawn is the only way you'll be unlocking them anytime soon. So with that said, to unlock this creature you're looking at spending roughly 2.5 hours here for 25 charm points. And so guys, that was Darashia Putrid Mummies in a nutshell for you, which I cannot stress enough to you all just how much I enjoyed my time spent there. Crazy profit aside and all that, the respawn itself is a super chill and enjoyable place to hunt in general that I will definitely be coming back to again in the future, no doubt about it. If you guys have any suggestions on other spawns you'd like to see me cover in the future, be sure to leave them in the comments. Also, if after watching this video you fancy giving the spawn a try for yourselves, please do come back and leave a comment with how things went for you, as I would love to hear about how much you managed to get out of this place. And with that boys and girls, I'll be back with another video real soon, so until then, take care of yourselves, bye bye.